What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video, and this is the UFC 4 checklist. The UFC 4 official reveal trailer is very soon. Yeah, by the time this video is up, it should be in about 5 or 6 days at the next UFC event, which is, I believe, Kamaru Usman vs Jorge Masvidal, which should be one banger of a fight. I know you guys have really been enjoying the UFC stuff, so I don't know if you guys watch UFC or if you just follow boxing or whatever, but that should be a banger of a fight. And this is my checklist. I asked a couple of people, one of whom I play PlayStation with a lot, and they play UFC a lot, and they also gave me some of their opinions, which were really good. And we're going to be going through mine and theirs together and kind of mixing them together and kind of what we both thought of. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. If there's anything I missed, be sure to leave it down below. I will say mine is more heavily based on career mode and customization. We've got a few gameplay things in there, but very little online stuff, because I don't really care too much about online. If the gameplay is good, the online will be good, and you know, so on and so forth. So the first thing, obviously, on my list, the most important thing to me is more customization. We need more hair, we need more beards, we need more tattoos, we need to have more unique facial figures. Everyone kind of looks the same unless you make your character really ugly. I'm sick of the same like 15 hairs, the same 15 beards, the same 7 body layout, or same 9 I think it is. It gets kind of tedious, and I hope they bring in the shorts as well with the camos and stuff like that. Obviously you do get the blue and the red depending on, and the yellow depending on what country you're from, but I want more than that now. I think that with the Reebok you are limited as it is, but I think they should definitely do it so you can get the little Monster Energy drink logo on, and that stuff like that would be good, because you know Cowboy has it, McGregor has it, so it'd be good that we could earn that as well. More unique character movements, a larger move set, because some characters you will see have moves that they'd never use, and it is very bizarre to use them. And building on that, people that, you know, more realistic player models, like Adesanya, his player model is terrible. Even he has admitted he hates his own player model in the game. That's not how he moves, that's not how he throws his shots, and it's just poor. And I'm hoping that, you know, the moves you get are more unique depending on how your character builds. You know, I know, like, you know, it's martial arts, and most fighters can do. They have a full arsenal. They can throw kicks, legs, heads. You know, they can throw power shots or multiple shots. But you know, I just feel like if you build someone who's got a really heavy ground game, or you know, really strong hands, you're not going to get them throwing spinning heel kicks and things like that. That's just my opinion, but maybe you know, you guys think I'm wrong. A bigger roster, that's one big thing we need. We need every fighter. Second someone joins the UFC and has their first fight, win or lose, they need to be put into the game. It needs to be updating win and loss records. It needs to be constantly updating stats. So you know, I don't want to see 4-year-old records like we did have for a while in UFC 3. I want to see constantly updated stats. You know, even though I'm not a huge Usman fan, I feel like his stand-up should have gone up after the Kobe fight, because you know, they stood and banged for 5 rounds and Usman broke his jaw and TKO'd him. That should have put his stand-up even better, you know. So not lower his ground or nothing, just put his stand up a little bit. You know, he's shown he's got a bigger arsenal of strikes, so that should constantly be updating in the game. I know it'd probably be a lot of hard work, but I think for a fighting game, that is what we need. This one was a really cool one that someone I play with gave me, and that's replay editor and controllable replays. So instead of just the same 5 things where Joe Rogan says the same thing over and over, you can actually look at the replays yourself and edit them and save them and move the camera about, slow them down, speed them up. That would be really cool. That'd make things a lot more unique when you're making videos, making montages, things like that. That's one thing that I doubt we'll see, but I would like to see. Now, this was another really cool one I was given, and that's enhanced ground game. It's one I enjoy the ground game in the UFC games. I'm quite happy where it is at the minute, but things I'd like to see add. One thing that I was suggested, which is really cool, is strikes in the submission. So if you're being tapped, you can still throw shots, which does actually help and happen inside real MMA fights. So that would be one thing I'd want to see, is being able to throw like hammer punches or hammer fists down at someone like Ronda Rousey, when she used to get people in the armbar. Just before their arm would release, she would hammer punch them in the body or the head to almost distract them, to then be able to pull that arm down. And that's what I'd want to be able to see. Not just like 5-tier submissions where it's the same thing over and over and over again. That becomes kind of boring and not enjoyable to watch. More with the ground game, explosive ground get-ups, takedowns and transitions. So not a slow full mount to side control to half guard to full guard. Like, you know, that kind of thing gets a bit boring after a while. I want to see things like, you know, explosive get-ups. So really push someone off and really jump up, or really kind of scramble with them to get up. Not just a scramble which would be north-south up to the clinch. More things that maybe make it more unique. So even if you are, say, Khabib, you know, people still get up against him. He mauls you on the ground, but people still get up against him, and that's what I would want to see. So hopefully the ground will become a bit more explosive, a bit more interesting. It'll make people enjoy it more. And another point is really make the grapple stat count. I feel like if you have someone with more than 60 takedown defense, as long as you're quick and you know what you're doing, you can block a Khabib takedown 9 times out of 10, and you can just stuff transitions and then get up. I don't feel like the stat makes too much of a difference. Obviously, if someone's got 30 ground game and you put someone against 100 ground game, yes, of course, it's easier because the stamina slows down. But if they've got full ground stamina and bad transition stats, it doesn't really matter because you can stuff transitions with full stamina and then get off. So I feel like stand up, health, stamina and ground stats should really make a difference. I feel like sometimes, you know, even though it's a good thing, but when people make 100 overall characters, you can knock them out in the first round easily, as long as you know what you're doing, as long as you attack the body, attack the head. It's very easy to knock over 100 overall characters, which I feel like if some characters don't have 100 overall, or if, you know, you give, say, Francis Ngannou 97 power, there should be that lumen risk that at all times you can get one punch KO'd or one punch dropped. Yes, it does happen, but like, I mean, just like, you know, how he knocked Alistair Overeem out. Alistair Overeem wasn't rocked, and he still knocked him out. Obviously, Stipe did take a good few shots from Francis Ngannou and carry on, whereas Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos, Curtis Blades all got dropped by a very quick shot. And I think that should always be the lumen threat when you fight someone like Ngannou, Edson Barboza with his kicks, Conor McGregor with his left hand. It does drop people. You know, Nate Diaz, with how he's just constantly go all the time, stamina. Same with Max Holloway. He's constantly going all the time. I'm going to go on to the career stuff, things that are most important to me. It's quite a bit. First of all, we need a more detailed career. I'm sick of playing along the same line and the same path as every other person. Doesn't matter if you're a grappler, if you are a striker, if you get constant flashy knockouts, or if you go to decision every fight. You always have rivalries at the end of 4 fights, title fight towards, I think, 23 fights, and that shit's boring. And then you win the title, you have 3 more fights, and then you become champ. It's very fucking boring. I think they need to make it more unique. If you get flashy knockouts like Conor McGregor did at the start of his career, he blew his way up to a title shot. Max Holloway, still, while he was interesting, he had to earn it bit by bit. You know, Brock Lesnar, because of who he was, he got a few finishes and ended up earning a title shot and winning the title. Short notice title fights like this weekend, Jorge Masvidal, assuming he does fight and he passes the test, he will be taken on Usman on 1 week's notice. So it's things like that. That's what I want. You need a more detailed career. If you're a flashy fighter, or if you've had a lot of fights, you need to earn title shots, or, you know, if you lose, then it does affect you. It's not just like an X, okay, but you still got your rivalry fight coming up. More on that, you know, with title shots and with fights in general, I think it should depend on fan support. It should depend on your performances. You know, some people Dana White just loved and he gave them a title shot. Brian Ortega done some great stuff, you know, insane submission on Cub Swanson, crazy knockout on Frankie Edgar, earned a title shot. He wasn't ready for it. Max Holloway busted the shit out of him. You know, and he hasn't fought since, but regardless, you know, I think they need to make them more unique, each experience more unique. Yes, unfortunately, the way it is, if you go to decision most of the time and you go, you know, a lot of ground and grapple game, you may not earn a title shot as quick. Like Khabib, while he was very popular, it did take a while to get his title shot, regardless of pulling out a fight and injuries and the Ferguson, you know, hoo-ha. It does happen. Same with Dustin Poirier. He was in the mix a long time, and, you know, he would do well and he would lose a fight, and then he would do well for a while and lose a fight, and now he's doing well again, and he's consistently winning in lightweight, and he's earned a title shot and probably coming up to his 2nd title shot. Same with Michael Bisping. Michael Bisping would win a few fights, lose one, and he didn't earn a title shot until he ended up fighting Luke Rockhold on short notice, and he won the title, then he defended the title. So I think that's what we need. We need a more unique experience depending on how you perform, your fan base, you know, how you are at press conferences, weigh-ins. I think they need to incorporate all of that and really make you feel like the experience is immersive, so it's always unique. Probably the only other thing that I really care about in the career is on like your fight cards. I think it was UFC 1 or UFC 2 on the PS4. They done it where you could see the results of the whole fight card and see who won fight of the night and submission of the night. I thought that was a really cool feature that they kind of abandoned. I'd like to see the full fight cards you're on and, you know, the performance of all the fight cards, because that's what actual fighters do when they're training back, when they're not practicing, sorry, when they're warming up backstage. They watch the other fights on TV, you know, on the screen in their changing rooms. That's what they need to do. They need to keep that. That's a cool feature that they, I think, abandoned, didn't think much of, but it was a feature that I know that me and a couple of people really enjoyed. A couple more things. Head movement, even though that sounds really minuscule, I think that needs to be much more fluid than it is. I don't think it's very, yes, it's good, but I don't think it's as fluid as even UFC 2, or was it UFC 1 when you held L1 you could move. I prefer that, the same as Fight Night Champion, where you do have to stop, but it's easy to slip and throw. It's not clunky or anything. I feel like this one's quite, I don't think this one's as fluid as UFC 2 or Fight Night, and I'd like to see, you know, slips, rolls, head movement in general be a bit more fluid and enjoyable to use, and, you know, actually worth using. Yes, like countering in this game is worth using, but not as rewarding as Fight Night or as, in my opinion, as UFC 2. A couple more things. The only other thing is online. Ultimate Team, I'd like to be able to fight against friends, because, you know, you're building your own character. Why would you not want to fight against people? I think that would be one thing. And they also need to do, just for something fun, is online tournaments. The tournaments are fun themselves, but to be able to do them with friends and, you know, do the carried over damage and thing against friends, I think that would be really fun, and I think that would get much more people online to play against their friends. But that's pretty much it for my list, guys. I think I've covered most things that me and a couple of people spoke about. If you guys have any other thing you want to add into this list, or you know, what you'd want to see in UFC 4, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.